Hi there, Mr. Holcomb here with another episode of the Math Behind the Modules. Lesson 11, Fraction Multiplication and Product of Decimals. Okay, if you are in my Thursday's class, which would be period 6, okay, we started working this and we ran out of time. Be patient, and I'm going to talk you through this again. We're just going to do the lesson over again on, should be Monday. But if you're in my other class, disregard that. So yes, you are supposed to be doing this video again. Okay, so you not only need to solve each problem, but your groups also need to prove to the class that the decimal in the product is located in the correct place. As a group, you are expected to present your informal proof to the class. So what you need to do is, whatever group you're in, there should be 5 of them. Wherever you're sitting, just create a group. And I want one person to do an estimate, a rounding, and then I want one person to multiply decimals, using decimals, and then one to multiply using fractions. Okay. Now, we did some exploratory stuff in class Thursday, and to save time, I just want to let you know that if you take this and we take 34 times 12 and then add 0.62 times 0.8, it does not equal 34.62 times 12.8. That is not how we do it. This is an issue. You will not get the right answer. Okay? So don't multiply the whole number and then multiply the decimal and add them together. You can only do that in decimal addition. You can add whole numbers, add decimals, and then combine them when we're done. You can't add them together. So just so you know, do not do that. Now try doing these problems in groups. Have one do an estimate. Have someone else do multiplication of decimals, and have the other one do it multiplication of fractions. Okay? Pause the video and just do A, and then we'll come back and look at it, and then I'll have you try B after seeing how to do it. Okay, so first I'm going to do the estimate. 34.62 is more than 34.5, which is a half, so I'm going to round this one up. 12.8 is more than 12.5, which is a halfway between 12 and 13, so this one is rounded up. So round 34.62 up, and I get 35. Round 12.8 up to 13, and then multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus that 1 is 10. Write down your place marker. 1 times 5. 1 times 3. Add these, and we get an answer of 5, 5, 4. So our estimate is 455. Now, when we were adding, we knew we were going to be within 1, either greater than or less than. But when we're multiplying, it's actually not going to be within 1. All we're doing the estimate for is to determine where the decimal goes, because that can get confusing. We don't want answers that are 45 point something. We don't want answers that say 4,550 or 45,500. Our estimate tells us where to put the decimal. Okay? And that's it. We get close, but it's not within 1. Just so you know. Now, if we multiply by decimals, we're going to take 34.62 times 12.8. Okay? And I always like to line up that bottom number. So let me rewrite that. I did it all at once with that piece. And 12.8 go here. and multiply. So my numbers line up. 2 over 8, 6, 2, 4, 1, 3. This has more decimal places than this because of that hundredths place. So then I just simply multiply. 8 times 2, 16. Carry the 1. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49. Carry the 4. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 4 is 36. Carry the 3. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27. Leave a spacer. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 spaces. 1 times 2, 1 times 6, 1 times 4, 1 times 3. Finally, add all of these up. I get a 6, I get a 13, I get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, carry the 1, 8, 17, 23. Carry the 2, 4, 10, 14, carry the 1, 4. Okay, so we have this big number, 6 digits. This is not 443,000. This is not 44,000. Our estimate is 455. Okay, we're in the hundreds, so I know my decimal goes there. 443 is close to 455, but like I said, with multiplication, our estimates will not be within. This just helps us place our decimal. And if you look, there's 1 decimal place here, and there are 2 decimal places here, and that totals 3 decimal places. That's where it goes. This just helps us determine our decimal location. Now, if we're going to multiply by fractions, then we have to change this to 62. 2 places is hundredths, 8 is the tenths. I'm going to rewrite this as 34 and 62 over 100 times 12 and 8 tenths. Okay? I can't multiply these unless I make them improper. Okay? So, there's a couple of different ways we can do this. We're going to make this improper. So 100 times 34 is, or 100 times 34 is 3,400. Plus 62 is 3,462 over 100 times 10 times 12, 120, plus 8, 128 over 10. Okay? So then I need to multiply 3462 times 128. And if you did this, I'm not going to do it over again, because if the multiplied decimal person has done it correctly, we should get the same answer. So that should be 4, 4, 3, 1, 3, 6. Okay, 3462 times 128 with no decimals. Okay, and then 100 times 10 is 1,000, which tells me to move the decimal 3 places. So I move this 1, 2, 3, and that's going to give me 443.136. So this answer should match this answer, and it should be close to our estimate. Okay? Now let's try this again. Let me just erase this so it's okay. And now let's do B. So take the time in your groups. 1 estimates, 1 multiplies by fractions, 1 multiplies by decimals. Okay? Pause the video, see if you can get these solutions, and see if you can come to an agreement. Okay, now that we've paused this and had time to work it, this says Xavier earns $11.50 per hour working at the nearby grocery store. Last week, he worked for 13.5 hours. How much money did he earn last week? So we're going to do an estimate. $11.50 is a halfway point. We always round our 5s up, so my round is going to be $12. He worked for 13 and a half hours. That's a half. Half gets rounded up. That's going to be rounded up to 14. We're going to multiply 12 times 14. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. Leave my space. 1 times 2. 1 times 1. And 8 is 6. 1. This is my estimate. Okay? So whoever in your group did the estimate, you should have gotten 168. So we know Xavier has made more than $100, but less than $1,000 with this estimate. This just tells us decimal place value. 3 decimals, 3 places in front of the decimal is hundreds. So we know he made hundreds of dollars, but not thousands and not tens of dollars. Okay, so now we're going to do it by multiplying decimals. And it's 11. Okay, before I even do that, I want to explain. This has a 0 in it. This does not. We can make our life easier if we put the number with zeros in the bottom and shift it over so the zero's hanging off to the side. So I'm going to put 13.5, and I'm going to multiply by 11.50. I'm going to write it just like this. And this 0 hanging out over here. And if we do that, we can bring this 0 down and then ignore it because it's already giving us our place value and just multiply these 3 values. Not have to say 0 times 5, 0 times 3, 0 times 1, and have a row of zeros. Okay? So now we're multiplying 5 times 5, that's 25. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Put a space here. 1 times 5. 1 times 3, 1 times 1. Put another space. 1 times 5, 1 times 3, 1 times 1. Bring down this 0. 5 plus 0, 7 plus 5, 12. Carry the 1, 7, 10, 15. Carry the 1, 5. Bring down the 1. Okay. 3 decimal places. 3 decimal places. $168. It can't be $155,000. It can't be $15,000. It can't be $1,500. It has to be $155.25. Don't use a 0 with money. We only go 2 decimal places. Here is our Xavier's paycheck. Okay? Now if we do this as fractions, 1150 is 11 and 1/2 hours times $13.50 is 13 and 1/2 dollars. We're going to make our mixed fraction improper. 2 times 11 is 22, plus 1 is 23, divided by 2, times 2 times 13, 26, plus 1 is 27, over 2. Okay? But what's wrong with this? Before I go any further. What do we need when we're going back to a decimal? We need tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So these are halves. So I need to change this. I can show it, but let's just do this and erase. And change this to tenths. So this would be 11 and 5/10 times 13 and 5/10. Okay, we want decimal places, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Halves don't work. So now we're going to do our mixed fraction and turn it into improper. 10 times 11 is 110, plus 5 is 115, divided by 10. 10 times 13 is 130, plus 5 is 135 over 10. So if you multiply these two numbers, you're doing exactly what the person with decimals did without the decimal places. So you're going to get this number without the decimal, which is 155,250, divided by 10 times 10 is 100, and that equals 1, 5, 5, 2, 5, 0. Move the decimal 2 places, put it right here. I'm sorry, not the 0. Let me erase that. Okay. So now we have 1, 5, 5, 2, 5. And then if there's confusion there about decimal places, that's why we do our estimate. We know that that has to be hundreds, so the decimal goes there. There is no 0 if we multiply without that decimal. That's what it is. It'd be 15525. 115 times 135 is 15,525. Divide that by 100, there's 2 decimals. So our answer is $155.25 per week. Okay? So, discussion. Record notes for the discussion in the box below. Okay, so here's the discussion. Do you see a connection between the number of decimal digits in the factors and the product? Okay. So, let me go back to this example so you can see these on the screen. Looking at these examples, and I'll ask again. Do you see a connection between the number of decimal digits in the factors and the product? So how many decimal places are in the first problem, how many in the second, and how about the products? Okay, that's what this question's asking. In the second problem, how many decimal digits did the factors have, and how many did the products have? Okay, in other words, what it's asking is, how many decimal places were in the original question? How many decimal places were in the original question? And how many decimal places were in your answers? Okay. So record what you think it is in this box. And I will pause the video. Okay, so you don't have to have this exact, but this is similar to what yours should be similar to what this says. So in the first problem, there are 2 decimal digits in the first factor and 1 decimal digit in the second factor, which is a total of 3 decimals. The product had 3. In the second problem, both factors have 1 decimal digit for a total of 2 decimal digits in the factors. The product also has 2 decimal digits. So with that said, going back to our 2 examples, what is one thing we would not need to do, knowing that that box said in the what can be eliminated? And the answer is the estimates. You do not need to estimate if you realize how many decimal places you're going to get from multiplying by 3, 3, 3, 2. Remember, don't count that 0. 0.5, 0.5 is 2, 2. Exercise 1. Now calculate the product of 324.56 times 54.82. With what we just said, you should be able to tell me how many decimal places your answer has and not have to do an estimate. Now try this. Okay, so here we're going to calculate the product. So the first thing I'm going to mention is there are 2 decimals here, there are 2 decimals here, so therefore our answer is going to have 4 decimals. And I'm not going to do an estimate. So I'm going to take 324.56 times 54.82. 2 times 6, 5 times 2, carry the 1, 8, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. Never mind that decimal. I don't know why I wrote that. Disregard it. Place value. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry the 4. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 4. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 4 is 36. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 3 is 19. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 0. 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22, carry a 2. 16 plus 2 is 18, carry a 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, 3 zeros. 5 times 6 is 30, carry the 3. 25 plus 3 is 28, carry the 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, carry 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Bring down to 2, bring down to 9. 9 and 4 is 13, and 4 is 17. 10, 12, carry the 1. 7, 16, 24, 32, carry the 3. 8, 17, 19, carry the 1. 2, 4, 6, 7. 7, 1. 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. My answer is 17,792.2792. Let's just check that with our calculators. Okay, so here's the calculator. So we're going to calculate $324.56 and multiply it by 54.82. 17792.379. So I made a mistake in my carrying. I dropped 1 somewhere. So that's why we use calculators to check our work. This is a 3. 10, 14. Okay. That is correct. I forgot to carry my 5 and 6 is 11. 2 is 13. So my answer is 17,792.379. Okay. Now let's just move this out of the way a little bit so we can read what Kevin did. Kevin spent $11.25 every week during the school year. If there's 35 and a half weeks during the school year, how much did Kevin spend on lunch for the entire school year? So it's 11.25 times 35. This has 2 decimal places. This has 1. 2 plus 1 decimal places equals 3. We have 3 decimal places. Okay, that way we don't have to do our estimate. 5 times 5, 25, carry the 2, 10, 12, carry the 1, 5 and 1 is 6, 5. Bring down by 0, 5 times 5 is 25, 2, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, 5 plus 1 is 6, 5. Bring down 2 spaces, 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 3, and 3. Add these, 5, 7, 13, don't forget to carry the 1, 12, 19, carry the 1, 9, 3. 3 decimal places, so it's 399, and now this is money, so we should always round to 2 decimal places. That 5 is going to round that up to 38 cents. Okay. Next question. Gunner. His car gets 22.4 miles per gallon. There's 1 decimal place. And his gas tank can hold 17.82 gallons. That's 2 decimal places. How many miles can he travel? So we have a total of 3 decimals. Okay. 22.4. Okay, this has 4 numbers. This has 3. I prefer to put the bigger number on top so there's less multiplying, right? Less steps. So I'm going to do 1782 times 2, 2, 4. Don't worry about the decimals. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 3 is 31. 4 and 3 is 7. 0, 4, 16, carry the 1. 14 and 1, 15, carry the 1. 2 times 1 plus 1. 2 zeros. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 7, carry the 1. 14 plus 1 is 15, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Add these up. 8, 6, 11, carry the 1. 8, 13, 19, carry the 1. 9, 3, 3 decimal places. 3 decimal places. So we can go 399.168 miles. Okay. And pause the video, try number 4, and come back when you're ready. Alright. The principal of East High wants to buy a new cover from the sand pit used in the long jump competition. He measured the sand pit and found the length is 29.2 feet, and the width is 9.8 feet. What will be the area of the new cover? Remember, area equals length times width. It's a rectangle, and this is 29.2 feet and 9.8 feet. So it's always a good idea to draw a picture, especially when you get into geometry in a couple of years. Definitely draw pictures to be quick. Okay, so we're going to multiply the length times the width. 29.2 times 9.8. Don't really care about the decimals right now, but there's one decimal, our answer is going to have 2 decimals. 8 times 2 is 16. 72 plus 1 is 73. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 7 is 23. 0. 9 times 2 is 18. Carry the 1. 9 times 9 is 81. Plus 1 is 82. Carry the 8. 9 times 2 is 18. Plus 8 is 6. 6. 11. Carry the 1. 3 and 5. 3 and 2 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. And 2. 2 decimal places. So this is 216 square feet. Area square. Okay. That is the end of lesson 11. Do your exit ticket, and then go to your problem set.